the biggest reason, so if you think about this, let's backtrack a little bit, so we'll digress. The biggest reason anybody does anything, let's even make it a baseball swing or a golf swing, you'll see little kids, and I know this from my golf coach, you'll see little kids and even adults will stand and grip it like a club. Let me see if I'm here, if you're here. And they spread their feet really wide, okay? And their weight's 50-50, and you'll see this kind of stuff, okay? Adults, little kids, baseball, you'll see people get super wide and then do this kind of stuff, trying to swing. The body, guys that I know, professional hitters, they work with major league hitters, great hitting coach. He wants his guys, when they stride, to be, and this isn't even a full length bat, he wants their stride to be the length of the bat on the inside of the feet. So this would be mine. As far as a major leaguer, if I was going to step and to hit, this would be my stance. And then they get back here. Now that's a product of the baseball swing and what they want to do with the ball, but they want the stance wide. So what we get as a human, if you see anybody try and do anything strong, you see them do this, go really wide, and keep their weight 50-50. So what you'll see a lot of times too is then when people are fighting, you'll see this wide here. This feels powerful, you feel stable. The problem is you're not, and you're not strong either. Okay, but it feels that way in your head. It feels that way. So you get, and then when you get is muscular effort. So I would look at your people that first start shooting. If they're aggressive people, probably stand wider. I would bet a lot of the gals, if they're timid, that they stand with their feet too close together. Okay.
Oh yeah, and you tell them to go wider, and they
do this.
Yeah.
That is wide. It's really wide. Okay. So the guys, you might see this kind of thing, that kind of thing. Okay. That's the brain thinking that you need muscular effort to do things. You're going to hunker down and hold yourself in place. Okay. When it's not, when you don't need it. So when you swing, I know this from golf or from baseball or anything like that, or pitching. If I'm a right-hander, this is the pivotal axis of my body, is that leg, and that if I'm a right-hander, I'm going to throw over that leg. So the head, everything comes over there, and then the rest of the body rotates around it. So if I throw a discus, if I throw a shot put, if I throw a javelin, if I throw a baseball, if I hit a tennis ball this way, racquetball, everything turns over. If I'm going to throw a football as far as I can, you'll see this all the time. This is how humans are built handed to propel things. That's a skill set. So spear, think of hunting. This is a great advantage rather than me doing this and throwing it with my arm. If Rick's talked about fine motor skill, how you fine motor skills just from here down. So if you try and do something athletic just using your fine motor skill, not only do you use this, I think we talked about this before, is from here down. So you'll see people hit things like this that don't have good gross motor programs, and they don't move well because they're only using from here down. So you'll see movement like this.
Have fine motor skills.
They can.
They just know how to turn on the gross motor.
Exactly. So you think about your top level athletes in the world. I always go to like a Michael Jordan. Extreme fine motor skills to be able to change and do things with a basketball, dribble, lay things, dunk, move, shoot, different angles, but also tremendous gross motor. Your top, Bo Jackson, being able to run, catch, throw at a high rate of speed, climbing up a wall, climbing sideways up a wall, pulling something down and then throwing it, requiring fine and gross motor skills. Major League Baseball pitchers, usually the guys that, if you see them play golf later, some of the best guys, the guys that play golf the best, Major League Baseball pitchers, because of how they're rotating over that. So they understand the movement, okay? So as a human though, what we want, and if we're gonna beat something, you'll see people do this
Big wide
and
even
get
with
here
the
rather
stance.
than even sledgehammer work.
Okay.
So if I'm loading, if this is my pivotal axis, and you'll see sledgehammer, that I don't want to do this. I want to get to that leg to be able to deliver. Now you have enough weight to keep your balance from here.
So what is the weight distribution that you think you have going on in a proper?
Right now, 80, probably 80, 20, 75, 25, maybe 75, 25. Now, here's the problem, and this is the biggest problem. I learned this from learning from my pro golf coach. This is the biggest thing, and I thought I was in incredibly good shape when I first started training with him, and I'm like, I don't have to be in condition to play golf, was that I would hit 1,000 balls a day, most of them standing on one foot, where I would do either hand, both hands, and I could make the ball do anything I wanted, left, right to left, high, low, any angle, and moving on these drills to develop leg strength that you need. So imagine this as your brain, if I'm shooting, or even a handgun, but a shotgun, let's say the first time I shoot one, how do most people stand when they first pick up? I say just any amateur, they pick up a shotgun, and would you say about here?
Yeah, they stand up straight and then they angle their upper body and hips away.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
and where's my weight? 50-50
On
and
your
leaning
heels,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. And the first round does this, and you go to the line of your feet. So think about, and I did this as far as gun defense. We did that, I just taught my instructor Sunday, and we went through this for an hour and a half, was if I'm here, okay, and you push on my hand, and you push this direction, this is where I'm weakest.
It's where the line of your foot is drawing to. It's
So,
this right here.
yeah, so it's this line, and this is where you're weakest. Now, if I do this, and I go here, and you push this way, I'm stronger this way, here. Okay, you can feel there's still weakness here, but if I stand here, now push, and you can feel that as soon as you, it's the difference in touch. Now, also from here, when I do this, the drill we do with Rick does with the, with the handgun, is that when I get to here as a right-handed shooter, if you're banging and I go here, okay, that if I'm here, what happens? When you bang, and then you see their body go backwards, yeah? So here, now I can do this and I can lean into it.
But also you can move and pivot.
Now I can. This is a signal to my body that I can do whatever I want with it, okay?
So when Rick taught movement in the very beginning to me, and the way that I teach it, and the way that you taught us in fight classes to get the back heel up, I thought it was just so that you don't start standing up straight. I didn't realize how much more there was to it. I didn't realize the whole weight distribution, and everything is one-handed. Everything is one-legged, basically. If you think about it, everything is one-legged now. Unless you're moving, but then you stop, you're on one leg. You can switch if you want to, but then when you pivot, it's all pivoting up.
It's to that leg, so that if I pivot that way, now as a right-handed shooter, if I'm going to step and pivot up here, do you see where my weight goes to immediately?
Yeah.
It's 75-25 or 80-20 here. The problem is, now here's the problem, this is why probably nobody does this, is that you need to have adequate leg strength for your body to do that. So most people, what they will sense, and I'm sure that they do it the first time, and they're completely, I venture to say 99.9% of the people in the world that would ever do this are unaware that the first time they stand and shoot, that if they would get their leg forward and they go to shoot, that they don't have the leg strength to hold themselves in this position, and they would wobble and they would do this immediately. I need to get stable. I need to get a good base. I need to, and you see guys, this is the so-called, not even close, but weaver stance or whatever, and you see people do this because they don't have adequate leg strength to hold their body and you should be able to shoot from here, but if I take this, so watch, this is why I wear shorts when I teach too, so guys can see how your foot moves and how your knee moves and your leg. When I do this, if I go from here, if I'm standing tall and I do this, do you see where my leg goes to, the angle of my leg?
Yeah, it's out past your pinky toe, not curving into your big toe.
So I'm here. So you can see the angle that when I'm shooting, this looks like I ran and stopped to here.
Well, and all shooting is
Or walk to stop. And go
walking
there.
is one-legged, and if you want to shoot while you're moving, then you're shooting one-legged.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
So, but
You never would be walking and go bang to
but
here.
as a human, though, if you
It's
want
here.
to get balanced, you think balanced literally means cut myself
Straight
through
up
the
and
middle
down.
and distribute everything to the sides
Hunker down.
and hunker down like this. And I mean, if you were coming, to charge me, I would, lower your center of gravity. But I'm thinking,
Well, here's how innate that is. Here's how genetically dialed in that is. That is from, if you watch animals in the wild, for example, you'll see a gazelle and it'll smell a lion and you'll watch every single one of them squat.
yeah.
And they
squat
load their
first.
quads.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lions do the same thing, which is kind of hysterical when you think about it, because instead of running, everybody goes, okay, ready, go. Where you should smell it and you should run, but they load. That's the response, is from here to load, and then everybody runs, but they all do it. So which is funny to me as a human, that we do the same things, that when you see, like when you said with somebody gets scared, you see them do this, or somebody, they want to pull something, they want to fight, they want to be strong, to do something that will be there, never something athletic where they'd have to generate speed and power.
Because athleticism is the combination of the gross motor and the fine motor.
Yep.
Whereas people just go animal brain, they go gross motor,
Well, it's hunker
just
down,
be
but it's,
hunker down
and
and
all
be
they're
strong.
using is fine motor now.
That's
all
they're
you'll
going
use is
left
fine
with,
motor.
because they can't, their gross motor can't do anything else because it's just hunkering down.
Yes. Yes.
So
You limit yourself.
let's go back to the balancing on one foot, finding that, and then, because that's
And then
completely different.
stepping.
Stepping. 'Cause
Oh, I
that's-
know,
So
yeah.
there's one more component though that I have been teaching and I've been working on, and it's really helped for me specifically to engage the muscles that you're talking about, because it takes a lot of leg strength, and if I was just
Typically.
engaging my quads, I'd be done.
Yes.
But I can feel it engaging all the way up the back to my hips and upper back. Well, not upper back, but lower back. So one of the things that I've been doing is once I set my feet, and I have been doing about 50-50, but I've been keeping my heel up, is then I push my knees off to the side a little bit, which engages my glutes and sucks my feet to the floor.
Yep. And
So
we
with
worked on the
this-
twisting that we did before
And
too.
the twisting. So with this, I set my foot down, I can still
You feel it's engaged.
engage instead of just like, this is like hot lava and I don't want to touch it. I'm touching it,
Yeah, on the
but
ball.
I can still push off.
Now use the ball of your toe.
Yeah.
So if you were going to now, if you needed to shoot 3 different targets, let's say if you needed to go here to the blue thing, to the foam roller, and to the
Got it.
Swiss ball without moving. Now get enough on your ball of your toe. So what you should feel, remember when we were working the twisting, you should feel ball of the big toe to the inside of the foot when you twist. This is your director. If you think of this as a rudder, think of the ball of the big toe on your right foot as a rudder.
Okay.
And this will change your hips, the angle of your hips, to where you could do this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Rather than if you're back, 1, 2, 3. And you'll feel your weight when you do it too.
Well, and that was crazy. That worked, number one. Number two, I kind of am already doing that when I'm shooting, and I know I have targets here and here. I'll run up, and when I stop, I'll point the toe to the farthest target, the toes to the farthest target. And so that way I can pivot like this.
Ball of the foot to
Yeah.
the ball of the foot.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
So go ball of the big toe, so that just enough that you can use it so you could do this, back and forth. And then I go about 75, 25, and then go 1, 2, and 3, and feel where your body weight is. Okay, you feel
Well,
how you direct it with your foot?
but the body weight hasn't changed. It's
No.
still straight line down into here.
Yeah. So you direct it with your foot. Now do this. Now shift your weight back to where you normally are. Okay, now go. You feel the difference?
Well, and the further I swing, the more wound up I am, and the more tension I have, but
So,
not in a good way.
Do you want upper body tension?
No.
Okay. So the more, if you see this, and we worked this before too, is that the more, to a certain point, I don't want to drop I cannot lower my body too far. Let's say like in a fighting stance, I don't want to go so low that when I load my quads too low, there's no more rotation of my body. Okay. That I get, it's a sweet spot. And the way you find your sweet spot is working things from being in balance.
Okay.
And now I'm on that sweet spot. For me, I know it's right about here because I can feel when I fight or if I shoot, everything goes to the same spot. And you'll find that spot for you. Okay. And then go to the ball of the big toe. Okay. And now you can feel that load there. Now, what happens when you load your legs like this, now your upper body, your arms should feel like this.
They're light.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, like when I did my usual way and I was doing this, I felt tension. I mean, I felt tension this way as well, the correct way as well, but this, I felt lighter in my upper body.
Now you can control. So now if I do this, if you stand tall, your arms feel heavy. Your arms will feel heavy. The weapon will feel heavy. In order to counterbalance it, after a while, you'll start to lean back. Okay? Average, normal beginners, standing like this, up, leaning back because the weapons, that's heavy. You get stronger as you shoot. Well, you get better technique as you shoot. Now when I go to here, if I take it here and I drop to that level, now your upper body feels light and then you can move very quickly. Your hands are freer for manipulation. Yeah. So think about if you had to reload from there. You feel how your body stays. Now, the other component with this, I could hear people going, well, blah, 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 I do, blah, blah. Okay, so this you can't dispute this. And I know this from doing athletics and fighting and everything else. As your brain, you have, and this is again back to my golf coach, he did, which is funny, is the work that he did is, it applies to anything athletic. We talked about a safety envelope. With your feet together, your body will only go so far to one side or the other, and when it gets to a certain point, it will put a foot out and put a hand down. You will, as you fall, you will put your hands out to protect your computer. Okay? This is the same thing for fighting. We see guys all the time that they get here, and if their brain senses they're off balance, the other hand will go out to counterbalance.
And then they shorten their range as well.
Everything, and it's terrible, yeah. I mean, if you get hit with it, you can still get knocked out, but it's nowhere near as hot as somebody doing this, like throwing a pitch. They do the same as, well, you go, I could throw a baseball from here. Yeah, you're never going to throw it 100 miles an hour from here, ever. Okay? So, one, you have the safety envelope. Now, where that would be important to this, and how that ties into this is, if you're needing to reload quickly, you can either drop back all the way and stabilize your body and stand up and reload, or I can get to here. Now, this is subtle for you too, especially at that level, at a high level, this little bit of, when you rotate the weapon, if my brain senses I'm off balance at all, it will stop.
Sure.
It will slow down or stop. The same, and if you think about it this way, is if I'm walking on a tightrope, and all of a sudden I would lose my balance, you'll see people do this and freeze. Look where your hands go. So now imagine I'm shooting and I need to manipulate anything here. I've got a stoppage, I've got where I'm trying to run, I'm trying to reload. If this goes off balance, immediately this will slow down. Whether you think it does or not, it does, because your body's off balance, and it will correct itself balance-wise and slow down to do those things. Okay? Does that all make sense? Okay, so you've seen these things as you do. You can watch people melt down, and literally if they can't fix it, you'll see them do this.
I've also noticed
flat and go to here.
when my fatigue, and this is when my conditioning is pretty low, When my conditioning is pretty low and I start getting super fatigued, and I especially have, it could happen with, well, it happened 2 weekends ago, even with a pistol. At the end of a very long stage, I was in fatigue state with the pistol, and just, it ends up being a, it just, everything just starts to break down, and it's just a stance game at that point.
Okay, yeah. Now, I think you were there, I don't know if you were. One day we were doing the firearms training. We were down at the bullet hole, and I had just blown out my knees. And Rick goes, I go, well, I wish I could shoot. And I go, I can't bend my knees. I can't even do anything. He goes, well, just shoot from the chair. So he's got his Browning. I'm literally seated on the chair like this. Okay, because I can't bend my knees. They're in leg braces. And I'm shooting maybe 15 feet, 20 feet. And I'm standing like this shooting, and I'm doing this, and after about 5 rounds, I'm like this.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I can't lift it. Come on. You put 500 rounds through it, standing there one-handed, I wouldn't get tired. I couldn't sit because there's nothing to hold my upper body up. And all of it is all now here into my core, because I'm holding my arms out at this length, and I'm holding 15 to 20 pounds up of my arm weight, and this without using my legs at all.
Yeah.
So that to me was hysterical, and I was like, this is ridiculous. What is wrong with me? Well, if I can't carry the weight, even the weight of your arms is enough to pull you that way to where you have to do this and lean back and engage your core. And if you don't engage your core, now you slouch. Okay? If you're not in shape and you can't contract your core anymore, okay? If this is why we work on breathing so much. If you can't catch your breath, can you contract your core? Nope. So you can't be as strong. I mean, these are all things that I know people, a lot of people would go, oh, that's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. I go, it's physiologically, there's no way you can dispute it. That's what happens when you do things. So if you notice when you're doing long range shooting and you got to catch your breath, and we work on breathing, out contracting and contracting. That's why you have to overtrain your ability to contract your core and control it, but also to work your leg strength so that you can carry your body, and unilateral work on especially your dominant leg, your pivotal axis of your body, so that you can hold yourself over that spot longer without having to deviate to the other one. Now, if that's all you have, it's all you have is strength and to muscle through it, that's all you got at that point. But why not be as efficient as you possibly can?
So speaking of overtraining, obviously we want to carry the weight in legs, and that's ideal, but you having been put in that situation, it just put a spotlight on how difficult it is just to muscle through it. And you said overtrain. Would it be valuable to just, for muscle and breathing, to sit there like that and hold a long gun out or hold your arms out and just practice? It's almost like
it won't last long.
Well, that's the thing.
It won't
if
last
it won't last
long.
long, maybe it's hard. Maybe it's worth.
Where I would spend my time, and if you notice here, so if I go back to, let's go back to, and then you'll understand why when I say I'm hyper anal about everything that I do, tying into everything that you do when you train. Think about the sled. When you push, this is why we go at hip bone height, your hip bones, is that when I'm moving, watch this, if I get to here and I'm running, look at this, now watch this. What changed?
Your arms, that's it.
And I turn my shoulders. If I go here and I'm stepping and I do this, what changed? For me, this is my fighting stance. I can move around and I go here. This is my fighting stance. This is here. This is how your body is set up to take the biggest load. So if we're pushing 1,200 pounds on this, okay, the only thing that'll change for me is that I'll be here more and I'll have to extend my legs to push, but my initial push will still be at that same, do you see the angle of my leg?
Your left leg has not changed from holding a pistol to shooting to pushing the sled.
It has to be. It has to be. So if I throw something as hard as I can, do you see where my
It's the
leg
same.
goes to?
It's the same.
It has to be, as a human, it has to go there. It can't be, it can be different, but it won't be optimal if you do. Does that make sense? Okay. I know nobody else is saying this stuff, but we're tying it together this way. I understand it. It to me, it makes perfect sense. It can't not make sense. So as I always say, stop me when I'm lying.